Hi guys, Cliff here and welcome back to the channel and the part 6 of the Mercury build. And we're going to start this build where we left off with part 5, which was the wing. I've just finished capping the strips and putting the rest of the sheeting on there. So while that's drying, I'm having a look at the other part of the wing, which is, if you remember, in rather poor shape. So I've just started ripping off some of the trailing edge material because it's ugly, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Look at that. So I've just pulled off all this balsa and I'm just going to clean it all up. I've still got the balsa on the main spar to remove, down to the correct level, all the glue to remove. I might just leave this bit on the back because it's not too bad and it's against the trailing edge. I've got a nice piece of wood here to put back in there when I've got everything out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue cleaning this up and then we'll come back to you and we'll have a look at what I've got. Cheers. Yeah, so what I've done, there was that raised lump here and I've cut that out. No, it's not moving. It just looked like it was moving still. It's just the edge of there's a rib here. So there was a raised lump here. And it kind of still is. This wood warped a bit. But I had this small strip, so I let it in there. I can have that, cut that out now. Look. Basically, what had happened, the previous owner had made a sort of support for the wood underneath, but you can't just use a straight piece of wood because it's not a straight section, which didn't help. And the same with down here. This was a tricky part. I opened it up and a very hard piece of wood indeed. It might even have been engine bearer had been put in here to support the join, but it was dead straight, so this bit was quite a bit lower. So I've added a rib here, might just want taking down slightly to support this piece when I glue it in. I've added little extra bits to each rib here, the ones that got suffered a little bit during the removal process, so that's nice and supporting now. So basically I've had to glue up a couple of bits here and there, but basically it's ready to measure the piece of wood and get it cut and put in. Try to fit it, and hey presto, hey presto, I think that's as good as it's going to get. I have to put a small piece in there, so and we're going to glue that in. We're going to peg it down and crack on with it. Just wants a little bit of weight to keep it flat. To there, to there, and then I'll put one on there in a minute. So we're good. We are good to fit. Here she goes. Alright, push it down. Oops, push it down. Nothing wrong with that, guys, nothing wrong with that. So, we'll get some pins, some clamps. Although it's sitting down there quite nice. Need a pin at peg at the end, get me pegs out, and we'll come back to it later on and see how it all looks. There we have it. wingtip pieces fitted, so we'll just let it to dry now and see what we got later. Right, what you see before you is a centre section to be built for the Mercury 4 and the massive dihedral braces to be built for the same model. The wings have these slots which these braces go into. Now, the front centre section spars are 3/8 thick. The rear centre section spars are all, it says 3/8 thick, but that is a mistake because it's actually about 1/4 inch, as you can see here. I think you can see. So I'm going to change that because it's likely to cause somebody a bit of grief in the future. I'll cross that out. So what I thought I would do, I don't have 3/8 thick spruce. It's joined here as well, so it's not one massive piece. I don't have any, but what I thought I would do instead is to glue together 3 pieces of 1/8 ply, and I can put the join opposite, of course, on one of them. I think that will be just as good. I hope so. I could, if I wanted to, sandwich a piece of 1/16 fiberglass sheet maybe between. Anyway, so what I thought I would do is cut these out of 1/8 ply, and I need 3 obviously to make up 3/8. Because that's what that is. Do 3. If it's a tight fit, I can sand it back. If it's a loose fit, I can always put something else on as well. So that's that. But I've also got to make, what's this? CS1, centre section 1. That's that rib there. And I need a 1mm ply rib on the outside of that. The ply that goes on the outside of that, as it says here, leading and trailing edge must be left on, so because it has to go right over, which is a mistake. It's a mistake on the wing because the original builder made these in 3 parts. I don't know why. So what I plan to do is to cut out another rib, also in 16 ply, but 1 piece, and that will go right down over the trailing edge, as it does at the leading edge, and over the main spars, and help to key everything together. So quite a bit of plywood to start cutting out. I haven't sanded the wings yet, but centre section is waiting to be built. And then it's got these little nuts and bolts through that take the retaining hooks for the rubber bands that hold the wing on, and they're bolted, as you can see, to the centre section as well and hang down. And then the rubber bands go from the dowels at the bottom of the fuselage around this, so the centre section is held down really tight. Okie dokie. So what I've done, I've just made the 2 centre section 1 CS1 ribs, 1/4 inch for the centre section, and I'm just making up the spars as well. So the rear spar is 1/4 inch spruce, and I've made it out of 2 lots of 1/8 ply, hoping that that's going to do the job. That's the exact width of 1/4 inch. Goes in there, that goes on there. And that one there, I think I'll put it on here, it's a bit easier. Right, not along there, along there. Like that. Goes in there, down there, and in.
Okay, I think that's enough. So we'll stop there. Okay, one dihedral brace. I've sanded it smooth and this is how it fits. Okay, now all I've got to do is make the main spar. Okay, been out in the shed and cut out these components. So I'm going to glue them all up like that, weigh them down, and then I've got two of these. One's going to go on the front and one on the back, and they set the angle for the ribs. That's the theory. Right, I've just offered up this, what is supposed to be 3/16 into the slot, and it's a little bit loose. So this gives me the perfect opportunity to put in some 1mm. It's actually 1mm, could do slightly thicker, but 1mm will do. Fiberglass inside, sandwiched between the two, and that's going to make for an incredibly strong main spar, which gives me a lot more confidence in it. So I'm quite pleased that that's a loose fit. So I'm just going to mark this up and go outside and cut some more. I'll come back when I've got a couple of pieces. Okay, welcome back. I've got some epoxy, I've got my fiberglass, cut, and I'm just going to glue the whole lot together. Oh, first though, before I get glue all over my plan, put down a piece of well-worn plastic now. I broke four blades, didn't blunt them in the end, I just broke 4 blades cutting out the fiberglass sheet. Right, okay, so you didn't have time to get blunt. Sort of like an end grain there, isn't there? Sticks through. I think there's more Americans called Cliff than there are British people. I think it's still quite a popular name in the States. You see it on the forums quite often. But in the UK, it's an old-fashioned name. And I can be totally honest here. I'll be honest. I've never met another Cliff younger than me. That's how old-fashioned the name is. I'm going to need more epoxy than this. Let's put that pin at the end. Yeah, very old-fashioned name. Good job. I was planning on getting this bit done yesterday, but I just didn't feel up to it, to be honest. So I did that, the smaller spar, yesterday evening, and it took me longer than I thought, and I basically just ran out of time. Wow, this is a really good job done. Okay, let's get that on, I'll put some more weights on the top of that. Right, there we are. We'll let that set, guys, and we got ourselves a lovely, strong main spar. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is about an hour later, so let's get off some of these weights. See what we got here. What I'm doing, guys, is just taking this down till it starts to slide in. Very nearly there, and let's just keep working at this, offering it up, sanding a bit, offering it up. So I'll see Cat. So I'll see you back in a minute when I've got something to show you. Cheers. I just had to switch the camera on, guys, because this is a genuine wow moment. I've just slipped the wings onto the dihedral braces, and wow, look at that, there they are sitting at their angle. Oops. Which means I can now do an aeroplane mock-up, but for the fact it's raining outside today. So one thing I haven't shown you, I've had to add these little slivers because the end rib was at a funny, wasn't quite as I would have built it. So Anyway, I've added those just to, and I'm probably going to face them off with another rib yet anyway, just to cover up all the end grain. And this one has got balsa rib on the end. This one's got a plywood rib, so things are a little bit mixed up, but yeah, look at that. There's a dihedral. Right, time for a trial fit. I've drilled the holes for the mounting wires for the rubber bands to hold the wing on, so I can now go ahead and make up the centre section proper. So starboard goes on there, goes on there, they go in there. I haven't made up the wing, the plywood ribs yet. I want to make sure that this fits in first before I do that. That'll probably go in slightly further, but it's hitting the stop, but it won't matter because I've still got to fit the plywood thickness. This one on next. To there, and this one slides on there. Now, how are we looking on this fit here? Oh yeah, that's okay. As with all things like this, it's a case of offering it up and seeing how it fits and make adjustments, offer it up. I've been offering it up quite a lot. It didn't go in that well earlier on, so we're getting there though. Cheers. Wow guys, look at that. That is a lot of work there. What is it all, Cliff? Well, that's the starboard, and that's going to have a rib on the outside of it. That's the center section. This is the port center section, and that's that one there. And that's got to have a bit of ply on the outside of it, so I'll just stick that to that, that to that. Nothing sticks to these yet. These two here are my wings, are my wing starboard. So it's going to go on there. I'm going to glue that onto there. So I've got a lovely plywood end. I had an idea actually, and I've just remembered it. I was thinking to hold the wings on tight to the root, to the centre section. How about a couple of magnets let in, whether they be powerful enough, whether they be in the right place. Not so much right place as powerful enough. Too powerful. If I was going to put them in, now would be a good time to do it. Look at that, it's a magnet, look at that, look at that. Oh, that's what happens when you mess about, Cliff. Oh, I'll find it in a minute. Pretty much the same thickness. So I've just remembered I'm going to do that, so I'm going to do it. And I'm glad I remembered that. So I've got to make some holes in these ribs, or end ribs, right in the middle, I guess. It's as good as anywhere. I've popped the magnets in, and I'm just gluing. Let's put it on there actually. Just gluing the ply for the centre section to the balsa rib. Put the glue on the wrong side. Start again. glue goes on that side, so it goes like that. Dear, oh dear, Cliff. Always pays to take your time, doesn't it? Take your time, think what you're doing. It's because it's getting late. I'd have been a little bit annoyed if I'd have got up tomorrow morning and seen that on the other side. Actually, there's a lesson. You should write glue on one side before you start putting glue on. So that's going to go on there. That's the centre section. Yep, that's correct. So I should have turned that upside down. Okay. Let's do it properly this time. It goes on there. And the slots line up with that. Now the next job is to stick these to the end of the wings. This is the starboard. The other thing you've got to absolutely make sure is that the magnets are attracting, not repelling. Okay, happy days, guys. I've glued these bits on overnight, so now I'm thinking I'll glue these W1s, which are plywood, and the magnets are touch in and stick in. How effective they'll be until everything's made, I don't really know, but that's what I'm thinking. Pulls in nice and tight there. Giving this another sand to get as flat as I can. I think I'm going to put it on with white glue. It does mean it's going to sit here and I won't be able to do very much on it for the day. But on the other hand, it'll give me time to work. So I think I'm going to use white glue. And I'm just thinking actually whether I should sand that up a little bit just to give it a bit of a key, because this ply is very smooth. So let's just take the wing off again. Pop it down there. Cat looks alarmed, so she should. Pull it off. As you can imagine, this is getting quite heavy, but it's a lot of aeroplane to hold up, isn't it? So, right. Starboard. Just got a rough old bit of old sandpaper here just to I'm going to put some glue on here because it's quite soft balsa and it's going to soak it up. Okay, now I'm just going to slide that on there, like that. I'm going to push the wing on, and this is going to be, oh, I forgot it was gluey. Dear, oh dear. So I've glued both surfaces. Just slide this wing on and we'll be at a major milestone. A milestone, oh boy. There. Look at that. Straight in there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for following along on this one, guys. It's quite a departure from my normal builds, isn't it? I offered the wing on to the fuselage last night, or the centre section, and it doesn't fit very well around the around this part, around the front, so I might end up bit of a gap. My choice is to either build up the fuselage there, bearing in mind it's finished, or I did offer the wings up before I got this far, but the the wing section differs when the dihedral goes up. So, or the other option, I thought I could put a piece of wood on the inside of the centre section, and this would it'll fill in the gap if nothing else. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, which isn't yet. Right, see you soon.